Hey, what is up, you guys? It's your favorite Irelia player, most reformed Irelia of all time, KidBarrierIgnite. No longer a version. Starting from yesterday, I lost it to a girl online. We were having a really deep conversation, and we decided that we're gonna have um sex. Is that what it's called? Yeah, and yeah, we were gonna call and yeah, she basically illustrated the image in my head, and I lost my virginity through my imagination. So in this video, I just want to give you guys 5 really key points to playing Irelia. They're pretty efficient, and not many other players know about these tricks, and they'll kind of help you understand Irelia better. She's such a basic champion, yet she can do so many things that no one else can. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If I missed anything, and if you agree or disagree with me. Thanks for watching. Okay, so tip number 1 is going to be actually quite simple. Most Irelia players and coaches and analysts, LS, I'm talking about him, and others, they'll tell you that you should start E first in Irelia. These people, when it comes to Irelia, do not know what they're talking about, okay? You should never start E on Irelia, for most cases, okay? Against Camille, against Riven, against any fighter, for the most part, you want to start Q, okay? Season 7, you wanted to start Q first because if someone wanted to like trade with you at level 1, you would auto attack, Q, and then auto attack, and that would give you 8 forever stacks faster than the majority of the other top laners. And then in Season 8, you can start Q, and your third auto attack is gonna do a lot of damage. Okay, so you're gonna auto attack once, you're gonna auto attack twice, and then you're gonna Q. Your Q is gonna pop Scorch, and it's gonna pop press the attack at the same time. And then you wanna auto attack one more time after that, and then disengage. Now, before beginning all of this, you wanna just pop your correcting potion, as it will enhance all your abilities and make your LN stronger. So tip number 2 is really simple, but it's really effective, especially in laning phase. Sometimes you have that misclick where you stun a minion, or you stun someone, but it's super slow and the reaction time is not fast enough because your fingers, let's say they're not warm enough, or whatever the excuse is. Anyways, so what you want to do is actually cast the stun before queuing onto the minion. This will make sure your stun is delivered at the fastest time possible, because what actually ends up happening is as you're queuing to that minion, as soon as you're in range to stun the target you want to stun, the target is just stunned. The reason this works is because in the middle of your queue, you can cast other abilities on Irelia, like your ultimate, your W, your E. The minute you cast those abilities, they will land. It doesn't matter if you're queuing or not, you will always be able to cast your abilities. So you can stun people in the middle of your queue. It's just not humanly possible, so in order for it to actually work, you have to E them before you click your Q. This is really good for farming under tower. You're not gonna get punished as often because the minute your opponent punishes you, you're going to be stunning them and locking them under tower with inhuman reaction time. So if like a Pantheon was about to Q you and disengage while you're under your tower, by performing this, you're going to be stunning them a second or a very sliver amount of time before, like faster than they can walk out of tower range, allowing them to take a tower shot or two. Or if a Renekton or Riven is stunning you, it can get very hard to disengage or stun them at the exact same time as they are stunning you. So if you cast a stun beforehand and then Q to the minion, you will always stun them at the exact same time as they are stunning you, not allowing them to get off their full combo or allowing you to react the way they are reacting. Okay, so the next tip number 3, is quite common, but a lot of people don't go over it, and not many people know how to do this. But double dashing and triple dashing, and just dashing in general with Irelia is very efficient. It's a good way to close in and then escape. And basically, after you get Trinity Force, with 2 ult stacks, you can Q to the frontline minion, and then Q to the backline minion, closing in distance really fast with Irelia. Tip number 4 is more of a fact than a mechanical play. And basically, the fact is, as we all know, Irelia is a mid-game champion, and her abilities do a lot of base damage, but they don't have any actual itemization scaling other than her Q. But her W will always do 75 fixed true damage. Level 5, her E will stun for 2.5 seconds and will do a specific amount of AP damage, but it will not scale because Irelia doesn't build AP. And her ultimate has a little bit of AD and AP scaling, but it's very irrelevant. And yeah, it could be good for the most part, but like you never build around the ultimate. Uh, the scaling is very small, but her Q on the other hand has a 1.1 scaling, so it's the only ability in the game. I mean, it's the only ability in Irelia's kit that you're able to utilize for the late game. And people build Irelia as a tank, and it's really incorrect. You should never build Irelia as a tank. So you should never get Adaptive Helm. You should never get like a Randowins. It's very situational that you get a Thornmail or a Dead Man's Plate. Instead, you'd rather go for an off-tank build like Trinity Force because it applies your Q and your Shin proc. Irelia applies a lot of Shin proc, and obviously Trinity Voice is core in Irelia. But then after that, you'd want to get a Spirit Visage for your healing because it's the only defensive item that actually utilizes the majority of Irelia's kit. And you want to get a Sterax Gauge for AD and HP. You want to do this because, again, Irelia has no scaling stats other than her Q, so you have to get the AD for her Q so she can be relevant late game, and she can spam her Q and W whenever it's off cooldown. And then you want to get a GA because also that gives you damage for your Q, and maybe a Bladed Rune King because also it applies with your Q. Okay, so anything that applies with your Q is what you want to build on Irelia. A Duskblade would be really good because, again, it applies with your Q. Okay, it's the only thing you can build around. So essentially building a Thornmail, if you're not up against a lot of healing, then it just becomes so irrelevant and useless, and you just fall off a lot harder. Like, if you were to sell your GA late game because it's used, you'd rather get an Infinity Edge. That way your Q can crit and you can do a lot of damage and take out someone before going down, because your late game is extremely irrelevant. Whereas someone like Fiora, who scales with AD, or someone like Riven will do a lot more late game. So basically she gets outclassed by everyone late game, and that's why she has to go off tank AD and just burst someone down. And that's tip number 4. Okay, so tip number 5 is kind of a repetitive tip. By now you can tell that the whole video is revolving around Irelia's Q for the most part. Okay, so you can use Irelia's Q to dodge skill shots. Okay, that's a no-brainer, of course, but a lot of people do not do this, and a lot of people panic. But in the middle of a fight, let's say you're up against the Fiora, did you really want to win that trade? Of course, we all want to win that trade. You want to dodge the repost with your Q, okay? So you'd want to ult in the direction of a minion, and you want to Q in that direction, dodging the skill shot and resetting with your Q, okay? Or if you're up against a Darius, you want to Q into the Darius to dodge his healing and the whole Q altogether if you Q into him. If you're up against a Camille, same thing applies. If you're up against an Ornn, you want to dodge his ultimate by queuing somewhere unpredictable. If you're up against Riven, obviously same tactic applies. If you get the feeling that they're about to stun you, you can queue away. Because if any of these champions in the top lane miss any of their skill shots, they will lose the fight. Okay, you can dodge Riven's ult, you can dodge Riven's stun, and her knockup. Okay, it's really huge, and it's really important that you use your Q for that advantage, because unlike those champions, Irelia is actually quite forgiving. Okay, Irelia she doesn't need her stun to win a trade. All she needs really is her W and Q. At times she doesn't even need her ultimate. Okay, it's obviously really good to have, but if you're a really good Irelia player and you're able to dodge important skill shots that the enemies have, then you will win most of your trades. Okay, Ornn, you can dodge his ult. Riven, you can dodge your ult. Jax, you can even like Q away from his stun if it's possible. Yeah, the majority of the top lane champions, they need to land all of their abilities to be impactful, but Irelia can Q and disengage from their abilities, and yeah, that's how she wins a lot of her trades. Other than the aids matchups like Pantheon and Malphite. There's not really much counterplay there. You just have to play it passive, and it takes a lot of skill to dodge a Malphite ult even with UQ. And as for Pantheon, dealing with him is not my job to explain in this video, but maybe in another video. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the very end, and I have a lot more videos coming up. I'm not the best at doing this. This is like my 7th video, but yeah, again, I just wanted to really get these tips out there because I feel like when I watch other people play Irelia, I'm the only one aware of these tips and tricks. And obviously, they're not going to get you to Challenger, but you're definitely going to be a better Irelia player if you implement them consistently in your games. So, yeah, I hope you guys have learned something, and leave a comment and like if you enjoyed the video.